Hello and welcome to Friday Double Bill, the show where Mayank and I review and analyze all sorts of films from Bollywood and Hollywood so you can make a more informed choice at the movies.
Well, coming up are the reviews of the Keira Knightley starrer Begin Again, the horror film Pizza 3D, and the trailer of Singham 2.
Should you see Pizza 3D piping hot at the movies, or is it best served cold? Let's find out.
On the face of it, Pizza, a horror film on 3D, is about a pizza guy who gets locked up in a house while he goes there on a delivery assignment. The house seems like a posh bungalow or a duplex ground floor apartment. Through the night, the pizza guy encounters ghosts and dead bodies. When he somehow finally gets out of the haunted place, his life changes. His pregnant wife, who had also come over to save him, it seems is still stuck in that house, or at least she's gone missing. The film is directed by first-time filmmaker Akshay Oberoi, and it was originally made in Tamil.
This film was remade from the original Tamil in Kannada, then in Bengali, and now in Hindi. Obviously, I was mortified at the prospect of wading and negotiating through the Mumbai monsoons to see this horror film. I'm happy and delighted to say that it was more of a suspense thriller and an extremely enjoyable film. Certainly not what I expected, certainly not the kind of Ramsey horror film that was being projected to be in the trailers. So I was really quite impressed with the film. It's clever filmmaking. It's you know, the new generation of the Chennai filmmakers, young directors who are pushing the envelope, and just a smart film let down by slightly not so smart performances.
Well, to be honest with you, Fahad, I was very let down by the performances and the picture per se. Firstly, these are the two most loserish characters I've ever come across on a movie screen. The guy is a pizza delivery guy, which usually is the hero of a porn film. You know? Now, he, of course, in the movie, that's Akshay Oberoi, if I'm not mistaken,
that's
is a
right.
B-grade version of Jackie Bhagnani, if that's even possible. And his wife is a ghost writer, or not a ghost writer, but a writer of ghost stories.
She is.
Yeah, and these two guys, they live off the insurance money of their parents' death. I mean, these are the people I don't want to empathize with at all or get scared for them. So that was my big issue, that I couldn't connect with the characters per se. Having said that, this is a film, as you rightly said, has been made twice or thrice in various languages. Clearly, there's something to it that the audiences down south have loved, and of course in Bengal as well. What was it is all I kept thinking about throughout the movie, because, you know, it's very simple. It's a horror film to start with before anything else. That's the genre we're dealing with. And if I'm not getting scared, well, I'm not getting scared.
Well, you're clearly a fearless man, my friend, because I was frankly terrified in a couple of places. I'm not ashamed to admit on the internet and for the public at large. I was shitting in my pants in a couple of scenes, which is good because I don't enjoy getting you know, terrified most of the time. So, and then it just went into a wonderful direction, and it was unexpected. I was glad for it, and very grateful that you know, it didn't sort of just become a gore fest or anything like that. Of course, we had Arunodai Singh walking around with an axe in his head. So you know, there is enough gore.
Well,
there.
You obviously don't have any axe to grind.
So here are our OMG moments, our oh my god moments from Pizza 3D.
Well, my favorite OMG moment, and I mean this in a positive way, is of course the start of the film, which is a very Frank Miller, Sin City, Walls with Bashir kind of, you know, graphic storytelling. And, you know, you sort of anticipate some great stuff that's going to happen once the movie starts that way. In fact, I also felt that if this is the talent that we have, then we should be making a movie purely along those lines. But, you know, the production design of the film thereafter, of course, is quite laudable, I have to say. And, you know, the sets look good, the 3D is in place for bonus effect. But, you know, at the end of the day, for me at least, a horror film, you don't even need all these things. Sometimes it can just be a home video, like say a Blair Witch Project, or for that matter, you know, Paranormal Activity,
That's
and
right.
it can scare the pants out of you. I think they overdid, you know, all the paraphernalia, and at some level, they distanced me from the film so much that I just couldn't care. And of course, I've spoken about the characters before.
You have indeed, but I have to say, really some C-grade acting, you know, unfortunately. But again, this is a function combination of just taking risks, pushing the envelope, trying to see whether they believe the script is the hero and therefore it's not necessary. When you have 90% of the film on one character, you bloody well ensure that he can carry the film on his shoulders. It's a tall task for most actors, and for young Akshay Oberoi, maybe it's not that easy. But I liked young Parvathy, who was Miss India in 2007 or 2008, and she's come back in 2014. I thought she did a reasonably good job.
Well, good on her. But, you know, at the end of the day, and this is my OMG moment part 2, which is when the pizza guy actually enters that haunted house, and you can tell that this guy is really scared, but all he's doing is going from one room to another, looking at dead bodies. I mean, clearly he should want to run away, and all he does is try the door, when you can see that the whole wall, you know, is actually made of glass. Just break open and get out of there. So, I mean, you want to be with him and you can show him the way, buddy, go, you know.
No, you're being very uncharitable. He takes a baseball bat and he tries to smash the window, and the baseball bat smashes in his hands.
Good on him.
Mayank, you had fallen asleep in the middle of a horror film, my friend.
You know, it's as simple as the situations the character is in, and at some level, I want to feel like I am that guy in that situation. Of course, this film also has a clever, so-called clever or too clever and a half twist at the end, by which time, of course, I couldn't care less, and I thought they were being over smart.
Well, look, audiences in Chennai, the Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, I believe.
Are you giving them my address by any chance?
And the Bengali audiences have loved this film. It's time for the Hindi-speaking belt. Clearly, Mayank Shekhar is not a fan. I'm far more charitably disposed. But let's get to our verdict, shall we?
Well, as for the verdict, I think this pizza is absolutely cold. Not cold in a way that it sends a chill down your spine as a horror film does or should. It's cold in a way that you get out of the theater and think like, really, man, like whatever. What is your verdict?
So I'm delighted to disagree with you, my friend. Absolutely delighted. And I'll tell you why. Because I found Pizza 3D to be far more appetizing than those bloody stale samosas at PVR Juhu that we served yesterday.
Well, you know, so what's your verdict, by the way?
Oh, it's a Dheko. See it with somebody you love, snuggle up with them, get the fright of your life, and have some fun. I salute this kind of filmmaking.
Well, the great man in Jaane Bhi Yaro had that lovely line for cake, thoda khao, thoda pheko, bahut maza aayega. I wish I could say thoda khao, thoda pheko for this one. It's a complete pheko for me.
So this was our verdict. Now let's see what the Desi Martini audience has to say.
Hey guys. Let's see today what the Janta has to say about Pizza 3D on Desi Martini.
The film has received a 3.6 star rating, which makes it a pretty good watch.
Desi Martini says,
Pizza is a decent rendition of the Tamil supernatural thriller. It has good twist and a handful of OMG moments. Loopholes in the script may bring it down, but it's still one of the better horror films Bollywood has produced in ages.
Movie jockey Anila Babar says, ये movie सिर्फ 3D नहीं, it has 3 P's too. Possession, pizzas and pregnant women. Also possess pregnant women eating pizzas. So as you see, one critic has given it a Dheko, whereas the other has given it a Pheko. And the Janta thinks it is a decent watch. So do go and catch this film. To know what the Janta thinks of other films in the theatres, do log on to desimartini.com. And don't forget to keep watching Friday Double Bill, where we bring you the best from our critics and the Janta.
The Hollywood review this weekend is John Carney's Begin Again.
This film by writer-director John Carney is essentially a rom-com about what happens when lost souls meet and make beautiful music together. Greta and her longtime boyfriend Dave are college sweethearts and songwriting partners who arrive in the Big Apple when he lands a deal with a major label. But the trappings of his newfound fame soon tempt Dave to stray, and a lovelorn Greta is left on her own. Her life takes a turn for the better when Dan, a disgraced record label exec, stumbles upon her performing on an East Village stage and is immediately captivated by her raw talent. From this chance encounter emerges a mutually transformative collaboration set to the soundtrack of a summer in New York City.
Yo, Fat Jimmy, did you get that down?
I got it.
All right, because that was exceptionally good.
Well, there is a musical couple in the film, or at least two musicians who are a couple, who've been a couple for very long. One makes it, the other doesn't. For the longest, I thought this was going to go through the template of A Star Is Born, which has been remade in Bollywood quite a few times, most recently Ashiki 2, and before that Abhiman, of course. But that's not the route the movie takes. And then I thought maybe this is going to become like this Jerry Maguire thing, because Mark Ruffalo's character is this guy who used to be an agent or an A&R guy before, and he's lost all his clients, and he finds this one client and sort of backs his entire career on her, which is Keira Knightley. But that's not the route the movie takes again. And I think while everything about it is so cliched, the movie is not, and I found it so refreshing.
Absolutely. I mean, every trope in terms of washed up, alcoholic, divorced, problem father with problem child, all of that. And, one in a couple makes it, the other doesn't. Is she talented? Is he talentless? That whole game, wonderful stuff. And just the ability of Keira Knightley to carry this film.
Oh yeah.
Mark Ruffalo does a great job, probably his career best performance. Just takes it to, I think, New York City. I mean, if you love the Big Apple as we do, then it's a delight to watch New York in the summer. Great fun. What do you think?
Absolutely. I think if you take the point of Keira Knightley, there is something about her, and I know we were having this discussion before we got into the show. It's called charming, but most people disagree. I mean, she has the same expressions pretty much throughout the movie, and not just this movie, but almost every movie that we've seen of her since Bend It Like Beckham. Bend It Like Beckham was Parminda Nagra, but made Keira Knightley the star, and you can tell the camera just loves her.
What a trajectory. What a
Absolutely.
trajectory. Every period drama had to have Keira Knightley. She's made some interesting choices career-wise. Mark Ruffalo has done some very interesting films. I mean, you saw him as Bruce Banner, the Incredible Hulk in the Avenger films. He got an Oscar nomination for that wonderful lesbian romance, where he stood out. So it's interesting how he's also made career choices. Very interesting casting of.
Yeah, but so I'm sorry to cut you there, because besides the casting, which is of course a very integral part of the movie, what I found very interesting about Begin Again, because it's a pretty unremarkable title, to be honest with you. We keep forgetting it, but it's about music, of course, but it's also so much about relationships. And we're talking about two couples here. Both of them, at least the man and the woman in both those couples, they cheated on each other. But it's so post-romantic. Nobody is an a-hole in the movie, and I thought that was quite interesting.
Here are the OMG moments of Begin Again.
Well, OMG moments or oh my god moments, even in a really good movie, have to be moments where you go, oh my god, this really sucks. And for me, that particular scene in Begin Again was the part where Keira Knightley, and her boyfriend Adam Levine, they meet. And she makes him listen, and they've been together for very long, about 5 years, and she makes him listen to this song that he's just composed, having come back from a trip. And she gives him that look, and throughout I felt like maybe this guy has plagiarized her song, and this is going to be that conflict in the movie. It turns out she's read his mind and that he's in love with somebody else. I'm like, really, man, is that easy from a song that he's just composed? I thought that was an OMG moment for me.
Was it telepathy or was it telepathetic? Well, watch the movie and find out. But my OMG moment is when Mark Ruffalo, who's a washed out, alcoholic, divorced music executive, is sitting in an East End low dive bar, and he sees Keira Knightley singing not so nicely at all, and starts to imagine what this is going to sound like when it's well produced. And you have all these musical instruments, from violins to cellos to pianos to drums, all playing by themselves. So suddenly there's magic realism in this film, which I thought was just going to be a simple rom-com. Bit of an OMG moment right there.
But it's very important for viewers to know that we live in Bombay and that we have to go through various natural disasters to even watch a film, which is why, a disclaimer, I was about 10 minutes late into the movie, and the first scene that I saw was the portion where Mark Ruffalo's character is talking to Keira Knightley, and this is the first time they meet. And that discussion that they have about integrity of art, about who is an artist and who is a crafted artist, and how Bob Dylan, for that matter, could just be a creation in some form or the other of the music industry, was just got me into the movie. I thought it was a very telling paragraph, that conversation between them. Besides that, I think Fahad, there are various other OMG moments, but there's very short moments in the film that sort of just drive you into the picture. Like the scene, if you remember, the party scene where everyone's in a statue position and they have to sort of figure out a way where they cannot dance or can dance. That's something I'd like to try at home.
Well, good luck. Don't invite me to that one. But having said that, I found some wonderful, wonderful cameos by rock and roll legends, very successful people. Mos Def, the rap star, plays a music executive who's actually sold out to the system completely. And all he wants to do is, produce bubblegum pop stars. And Adam Levine, who's a bona fide rock star.
Who's making his debut.
Who's making his, well, not really. He's appeared in a couple of films before this, yes. And he plays an a-hole boyfriend and musician
who is not an a-hole. That was the whole point. Remember, Fahad?
Well, what's an a-hole? Who's a b-hole? Is it all? Finally, let's see the whole picture and find out, shall we? So it's time for our verdict for Begin Again. Mayank, is it a Dheko or a Pheko?
Well, quite simply, this is a movie about stardom, it's about fame, what fame does to you, and it's also an area that interests me a lot and is done really well. There's of course music, there's drama, it's only a matter of time before Bollywood, I think, usurps this one and plagiarizes it as Begin Again Part 2, made from Bombay. But at the end of the day, really, Fahad, and this is something that we constantly discuss, is it doesn't matter cinematography, it doesn't matter the performances, what is the movie doing to you? And at some level or the other, it put a slight spring in my steps when I was stepping out of the film. Clearly, it's a Dheko from my side. Theatre pe Dheko, and if need be, weekend pe Dheko.
I couldn't agree with you more. This is a film that you should watch this weekend, Theatre mein Dheko, and really a film where you will be able to evaluate for yourself what it is about the artistic process, what it is about having integrity. I think this is a film that makes you think, and certainly go and see it as soon as you can. Each week on Friday Double Bill, we also bring you the trailers of the best that's coming up in Bollywood.
Well, this week we are checking out Singham Returns or Singham 2.
भारत में 315 लाख करोड़ से भी ज्यादा काला धन है।
मुंबई पुलिस के हेड कांस्टेबल की लाश के साथ करोड़ों रुपए भी मिले हैं।
आज राजनीति में सबको इनसिक्योरिटी है, इसलिए सबको सिक्योरिटी है। मुझे कौन मारेगा?
उस गुरुजी के एक उम्मीदवार की उम्मीद पे वार करेंगे। सिंघम साहब!
Wow, the sun also rises on Singham Returns. This is what happens when Rohit Shetty wants to grow up and become Michael Bay, don't you think?
Well, I think so far as Bollywood is concerned, he's even bigger than Michael Bay. Michael Bay doesn't guarantee box office returns, though he has been of late. But here is this movie that doesn't need to do much. It's Ajay Devgan. We know exactly what he's going to be doing in the movie. We know exactly the kind of stunts that are going to take place. The only difference I saw, and you realize that, yeah, right here, this is the good part to realize this, that we are finally not in Maharashtra-Goa borders. Usually, all Rohit Shetty movies are set there, whether it's a Golmaal Returns or a Golmaal Returns again, So thankfully, we've at least moved on. We've come to the big city. We've come to Bombay, and that hopefully might just give us some cool stunts that look even more realistic.
Look, more power to Maratha power. I would say when you have the sons of two stunt directors, Ajay Devgan and Rohit Shetty are both progeny of established stunt directors.
They also watch a lot of Hollywood movies.
And they watch a lot of Hollywood, and they want to grow up and become, Michael Bay, as we said. This is the result.
Well, I know. I mean, clearly this movie is going to be about people who are singing and people who are hamming. But God knows that can be a lot of fun too. So, well, we'll check out the movie now.
We're looking forward to it. Independence Day coming soon.
This week we also ran a contest on Twitter called Midweek Happiness. Here are the winners.
Well, that's all we have for you this week. But stay tuned for more stuff coming each week from Mayank and me.
Well, do tell us what you thought of the movies, what you thought of the reviews, and of course, what you think of the show, Friday Double Bill. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel on YouTube.